In this video, events take place in the year 2021 in Great Britain. Bobbi-Anne McLeod, 18, told her parents she was leaving home to meet her boyfriend, but hours later, it became clear that she had disappeared. Her family contacted the police, and a massive search began the next day, which eventually led to a gruesome discovery. Bobbi-Anne, along with her parents, Donna and Adrian, and brother Lee, lived in Plymouth, a lively coastal town located in the southwest of England with a rich history and maritime heritage. On November 20, 2021, at approximately 5:45 p.m., Bobbi-Anne walked out of her home in an area called Lyam and headed to the nearest bus stop on Sheep Store Road. As she left, she told her father that she loved him and that she was going downtown to meet her boyfriend and their mutual friends. It only took Bobbi-Anne a few minutes to get to the bus stop. She was familiar with the route because she had taken it so many times. When it had been an hour and a half since Bobbi-Anne had left the house, her mother, Donna, texted her to ask if she was okay and if she had gotten to where she planned to go. Without an answer, a worried Donna tried to call her daughter, but Bobbi-Anne wasn't answering her phone either, which was unusual. Another hour passed before Bobbi-Anne's boyfriend called her parents, asking if their daughter was home. He was worried because Bobbi-Anne hadn't shown up for her date, and all his attempts to contact her by phone had been unsuccessful. After calling all of their daughter's known friends and realizing that no one knew where she might be, Bobbi-Anne's parents began to suspect something bad had happened to her. They immediately went to the police and reported her missing. It was already after 9 p.m. The next day, November 21, police began a search of the area, which also involved McLeod's family and volunteers. Leaflets depicting Bobbi-Anne were distributed throughout the city. Her disappearance was reported on social media and in the popular media. Her brother, Lee McLeod, wrote on his social media page, "I'm begging every single person in Plymouth to help me search everywhere for everything. Please, please, people, if you hear anything or see anything, tell me." Knowing that Bobbi-Anne was supposed to take a bus downtown, police quickly found out that she hadn't boarded any. However, while interviewing people, the officers learned from a local resident that he had driven by the bus stop the previous evening and had seen Bobbi-Anne there. The implication was that she had definitely made it to the bus stop, but had not boarded the bus for some reason. The evidence that she was indeed at the bus stop was soon corroborated. They found wireless headphones in the walkway behind the bus stop that were determined to be Bobbi-Anne's. The bus stop area was cordoned off, and police officers were literally on their knees, searching the entire surrounding area for possible evidence. Evidence was also searched on the girl's route from her home to the bus stop and on all nearby streets. Given that Bobbi-Anne was at the bus stop but never boarded the bus, the fact that her headphones were found near the bus stop, and several other details that police did not disclose, authorities began to speculate that the girl might have been kidnapped. Police appealed to anyone with useful information about the investigation to come forward. A large number of officers were involved in the search, doing all they could to find Bobbi-Anne as quickly as possible. Investigators attempted to trace the location of her cell phone, which revealed that the device was within city limits, but they could not pinpoint its exact location. All calls to Bobbi-Anne's number were forwarded to voicemail. That same day, the girl's phone ended up in police possession. It was given to the police by the driver of the bus that was on the route where the bus stop from which Bobbi-Anne disappeared was located. A local resident had come to the same bus stop at 7:15 p.m. the previous evening and found the phone and an AirPods case there. At 7:23 p.m., a bus arrived, and the man handed the items he found to the bus driver, assuming the owner would look for them. When the bus driver saw the next day that Bobbi-Anne was missing and last seen standing at the bus stop, he contacted the police and handed them the phone and AirPods case. The next day, November 22, police, family, and volunteers searched the fields, woodlands, and roads surrounding the area where Bobbi-Anne lived, but no clues were found. The next evening, November 23, police announced that a woman's body had been found at Bobbi-Anne Beach, about 8 miles from the bus stop. It was found in a wooded area about half a mile from the shore. During the identification process for the McLeod family, the worst news was confirmed. The body found belonged to Bobbi-Anne. Her death was a heavy blow to family and friends. The family thanked everyone who came to the vigil in memory of Bobbi-Anne, which was held near the bus stop where she was last seen. Donna McLeod, Bobbi-Anne's mother, sobbed as she paid tribute to her daughter and thanked friends, family, and the wider community for their support. Surrounded by other family members, her voice trembled, but she completed a prepared statement. She said, "I would like to thank everyone for coming on behalf of the family. It's nice everyone is coming together under these circumstances. Unfortunately, our beautiful Bobbi-Anne has been taken from us, but she will never be forgotten. I'd like everyone to hold their candles up. This is for Bobbi-Anne." This was followed by a moment of silence as the entire crowd held up their candles in unison. Bobbi-Anne's brother, Lee McLeod, shared a heartbreaking childhood picture of the two of them, paying tribute to his beautiful and talented sister. The picture showed the two siblings smiling in their primary school uniforms. In a message posted with the picture, Mr. McLeod wrote, "Until we meet again, sis. I love you. You didn't deserve this. Such a beautiful and talented girl, and to have you as my little sister, the adventures and journeys we had will always be treasured. Now go rest easy." When police found the body, it was naked, but the medical examiner concluded that there was absolutely no indication that Bobbi-Anne had been raped before she died. There were serious injuries on her head and face, namely 14 lacerations. It is unknown how long the police would have searched for Bobbi-Anne's body had it not been for one event. On November 23, the very day the body was found, a man walked into the downtown police station. This happened at 1:17 p.m. Upon entering, he asked if he could talk to someone and told them that he had information about the missing girl and that he wanted to help the police and her family. A detective was called, and when he arrived, the man said, "I did it." He confessed to having kidnapped and taken Bobbi-Anne's life and gave some details of the crime committed. After he indicated on a map the place where he had left the body, police officers, who had hoped that Bobbi-Anne might still be alive, immediately drove there. Unfortunately, their hopes were not realized when the inspectors made their way through the dense undergrowth and found the body, which was naked and lying face down. There was no doubt that the girl was dead. The man who confessed to the horrific crime was 24-year-old Cody Ackland. He was the son of an ex-military man who stayed with his mother after his parents divorced. In fact, he lived only a few miles from the bus stop where Bobbi-Anne was last seen. Cody Ackland was arrested as a suspect. A lawyer issued a statement on his behalf that read, "I take full responsibility for Bobbi-Anne's death." Ackland also said in the statement that he had never met the victim before that unfortunate evening, and confirmed that he was the one who had abducted the girl from the bus stop. His car, phone, computer, and several other items were seized by police. To anyone who knew Cody Ackland, he was a good guy, a guitarist and songwriter for the local indie rock band Rakuta. No one knew that Ackland was into more than just music, but also serial killers from around the world. His personal list of idols included Joseph D'Angelo Jr., Andre Chikatilo, Ivan Milat, Fred West, and Tommy Sells. Number one in Ackland's personal ranking, however, was Ted Bundy, whose number of victims is not known, but there were at least 30 of them. It was Ted Bundy and his atrocities that Ackland paid the most attention to. Investigators uncovered 3,216 images on Ackland's phone, many of a disturbing and dark nature, reminiscent of horror films. In the days and weeks leading up to Bobbi-Anne's death, Ackland searched the internet for information about serial killers' crimes. He also browsed for remote locations on Dartmoor and for potential weapons. On the day of Bobbi-Anne's abduction, Acklin was visiting the website of an online sports store where he browsed baseball bats, ski masks, and waterproof clothing. It is important to note that, despite his clandestine hobbies, Cody Acklin had never come to the attention of the police, nor had he been in any trouble with the law. Apparently, he went so far in his secret hobby that he decided to commit a serious crime. It has come to be seen that Bobbi-Anne was an accidental victim who, by an evil coincidence, ended up in the way of Acklin, who that evening, like a vicious beast, went searching for prey. At the same time, the detective did not rule out the possibility that, after thinking about what he had done, Acklin might, in the future, become more forthcoming and give more details. He would later tell a psychiatrist that the feelings of depression he had felt before murdering Miss McLeod had now gone, and he was not feeling the same resentment as before, as if this violent act had rid him of these feelings. The trial took place in May 2022. Ray Tully, Acklin's attorney, said that psychiatrists have found his client was not suffering from mental illness, but he had struggled during childhood. Acklin was diagnosed with ADHD, dyslexia, depression, and anxiety, and by the age of 19, had a 7-year depressive history. Mr. Tully said Acklin had not received much comfort from either his home or school life, and that his father and other male role models had not provided much in the way of succor or support. On sentencing, Judge Robert Linford told Acklin that his act was determined savagery, saying that he was satisfied from the evidence that he intended to kill. This was a prolonged and awful ordeal for this poor person. She had the whole of her life in front of her, until it was brutally and savagely snuffed out by you, he said. You were quite clearly planning murder, and you did murder. Cody Acklin, 24, was sentenced to life in prison. He will spend 31 years in prison before he is eligible to apply for parole.